Hi everyone, and good afternoon, and welcome to this webinar from the Economy of Francesco. We are really happy to be here with all of you guys, and we have now a really good webinar. I'm really looking forward to it because it's kind of a different webinar from our village, which is Management and Give from the Economy of Francesco. This afternoon, we have two entrepreneurs with us that will like to share their experience with us. Both of them are part of the Economy of Communion, and they are really looking forward to talk to us about their experience. So this is going to be kind of different from the other webinars where we used to have professors. We used to have the point of view of academia. Now we have the point of view of practitioners. So some will say, so this is the real deal. This is how the real things goes in the real life. So we have now a huge opportunity to talk to these two amazing keynote speakers. But first, I was asked to, oh, sorry, I have to introduce myself. My name is Diego. I am part of the team of the Economy of Francesco from the Village from Management and Gift. I am currently living in Barcelona, and I'm a PhD student at IESE Business School, hopefully in which I will expect to be my last year. I have been asked to mention some brief comments about the encyclical Fratelli Tutti from Pope Francis, which has just been published on the last weekend. So this is it's a very interesting encyclical that it will allow all of us to know a little bit better of what Pope Francis thought is regarding economics, regarding business, and regarding globalization. So the first chapter is a very good read on how the current situation is. It's a read from the Pope on what is going on, what has happened with the pandemic, with COVID-19, and all the things that we know that have happened in this particular year, but from the point of view of the Pope, which is really interesting. Then the following chapters talks about different topics that I'm sure there will be a lot of conversation going on what the Pope Francis has said. I will just mention that in particular for our village, which is Management and Give, Pope Francis offers a really nice definition, a really good definition on what gratuity is. And for academics that we work in the give, we know how important it is to talk about gratuitousness and to give. So here the Pope makes a definition of gratuitousness, which was not previously defined in Caritas in Veritate, where that the concept was introduced. And that's really cool. I will not say to you guys which is the definition because I want you to read the encyclical. Please read it, and if anyone who wants to talk about it, let me know. I am here to talk about the encyclical and everything else about Catholic social teaching and Catholic social thought. Okay, so having said that brief comment, I would like for our keynote speakers to introduce themselves to our audience. So just a couple of minutes, very brief introduction so that we can get to know you, and then I will pass to our discussants, which are three amazing young people that would like to make a very good questions to our entrepreneurs. So if you don't mind, I would like to start with you, Kun. Could you introduce yourself to our audience, please?
Yes, sure. Thank you, Diego. Hello, everybody. I'm very happy to be with you this afternoon. I am Koen van Reuzel out Belgium, and my company is EasyKit. We started now 25 years ago. And to say briefly what we do, we sell to private clients all techniques for the house, such as central heating, electricity, sanitary installation, ventilation, and so on. But we do it in the do-it-yourself way, systems with extensive support for our clients, the customers, and with the final certification. And okay, today we have 11 shops in Belgium, and we have 120 employees, and generate an annual turnover of approximately 30 million euros. But I have to say how I came to this as a young youth like you today. my wife and I came into contact with a group of young people who had great revolutionary ideas to change the world. It was in the 70s, 1970s. They tried to live from the gospel, the words of the gospel. And their authentic lifestyle reminded us of the first Christian communities, of which is written, among other things, they had everything in common and there were no need among them. And this experience, when we were young, within the Focolare movement, also gave us the light for our family life and professional life after. Today, now we have 4 children and 9 grandchildren. And what was important in that time, that we made the experience that we did not view our monthly income or our belongings as property, but as a gift from the Father in heaven that we had to administrate. That was the guideline for us in our life. And so we have always tried to share with people far away or in our neighborhood, to share with our properties. Because for us, we are all brothers and sisters of the same Father in heaven. And it is we are very happy, but it's near to what Pope Francis said in this time for the EOF do in this time. But I think at this moment it's enough. We can speak later.
Thank you, Kun. Wonderful. You have mentioned in some way the universal destination of goods, which is also one part of the new encyclical of Pope Francis. Mm-hmm. So I will give you constant tips on the encyclical, so just to make you guys wanted to read it, if in case you haven't read it already. So now we move on to Jean-Louis. So please, Jean-Louis, can you introduce yourself to our audience?
Yes, hello all. First of all, I just wanted to say that I'm not alone in the room, because I am in Arny, close to Paris, and we are having our meeting, as we have every six months, with people from all over France coming to Arny. So because of the crisis, we are less people than usually. But let me show you my friends. Here.
Hello.
So we are in communion here and with you all. So and I'm very happy and also a little bit shy to be in front of I don't know how many people, but most of all I'm happy. So I am Jean-Louis. I am the owner of Rampal Latour, which is a soap factory. We are soap manufacturers. So we have two plants and we are producing Marseille soap. Maybe you know Marseille soap, it's quite well known. It's an antique soap made in Provence. We are also manufacturing perfume soaps, liquid soaps, and all kind of hygiene products and the detergents for the house. Mainly very traditional products from Provence, and we sell them in organic shops in France and all over the world, mainly in Asia as well. Right now we are 45 people with a turnover of 8.5 million euros. And we are lucky to be fast growing, and we are very proud to produce soaps to help people take care about themselves, especially in the context of the crisis, of the COVID crisis. Since I am 17 years old, I am very deeply concerned by the problem of poverty, the scandal of poverty in the world. And I was always wondering how I could take my place in this situation. So I first graduated, and we'll talk later about studying in order to work with the World Bank. And I've been to Brazil and to Madagascar 3 years. In order to, let's say, save the world. And I realized that it was not at all what I was willing to do. And then in 2001, I discovered the EOC for the 10th anniversary of EOC, and the proposal to gather private companies that create wellness, value, and profit, and to invite them to share this profit with the poor, between brackets, was like a revelation to me, because it was gathering my vocation to address the problem of unequal repartition of values and wellness in the world, together with the world of business, which is the one in which I feel more at ease, much more at ease than in the World Bank. So when I looked for a company to buy, we were with my wife Irene praying every day, and we received this soap factory, this soap company, as a kind of gift from God that we have to develop and create value in all the different meanings of value, and then to share it through economy of communion.
Thank you, Jean-Louis. I am very happy that both of your experience have started at such a young age, and that is very, very provocative for us, and also it will motivate us. Well, not me, because I'm not so young, but a lot of people that are watching you guys are very, very young, and they will get a lot from this conversation. So now let me walk you through how we're going to do this. We have 3 discussants. I will introduce each of them now, and each of them will make their question. So the question that they will make will be addressed to both of you. So I guess probably both of you will have around 5 to 7 minutes per question to answer, because you know we have to close at 4 p.m. So just to let you know this. So our first discussant is Juan Pablo. Juan Pablo is from Mexico, and he's completing a master's degree in economics and management at the Sofia Universitat Institute in Lopiano. He's a mechanical engineer with experience in the industrial sector. Currently, he participates in economy of communion in his country, and he's part of the National Committee of Economy of Francesco in Mexico. And he has a very, very good question. So please, Juan Pablo, please jump in and make your questions to our keynote speakers.
Thank you, Sergio. And good morning to everyone. My question is this. Many times we see academic work as an ideal and abstract construction of concepts that do not always correspond to reality. On the other hand, it seems often that to become a manager, it is necessary to get many qualities in the field and not in the books at all. So some values like intuition, talent, and also the charisma and human sense of economy of communion companies should be learned during the work. So what advice would you give to young people who aspire to become entrepreneurs or business managers about the importance of continuous training to become good leaders? How useful and necessary is formal study for learning to recognize the gift in the dynamics in the company? How worthy has continuous training been for you in order to lead you to become more human entrepreneurs?
So please, Koen, Jean-Louis, whoever wants to start, go ahead.
Okay, Jean-Louis, good?
Thank you.
No, okay. But sure, learning and studying is very important. But learning and studying you do also on the floor. And then for me, it was in my experience of years, it was very important to have a challenger, a person with who we could see things together, that we create a communion. But yeah, that was the most important, I think. But naturally, if you want to build up a business, a company, first of all, the knowledge of your business is very important. So training is very important. And then I would say take a good choice in the training. Because okay, you need your business, you have to know all, but also as person you need to be trained, and that you can also do on the floor. But the second aspect for a company is you have to need the passion for your product, and of all the impact of your product will have on society. For example, our product that we have, we learn our clients to do them themselves, to work themselves at their house. They know technology. We learn them about saving energy and so on. This has a value in plus for them. And the third aspect, I think, is very important for if you want a business that is also in the economy of communion, that you have to have also a passion for the values of the EOC, the inclusion of the poor, the communion. These are values that you have to develop. What is your vision on profit? People before profit is our slogan. And to create community in your company. In our company, what we do every year, every time, I said we have 11 branches in different places of the country that celebrate together, make festa. It's very important also to create this community with our employees. But yes, when you are authentic, people they feel this. So training is important, but training on the field and to have someone who can challenge you, and you have to make where you can create a community is very important.
Thank you, Koen. Jean-Louis.
My experience is that taking part to the EOC Utopia, which is the reality of tomorrow, is very demanding. So if you want to do that, I wanted to do that with my team, with the company, we have to be a kind of best in class in our own field of expertise. To reach or to aim at excellence in our know-how. And for that, it's of utmost importance to be trained first in your own field, which can be engineering. For us, it's chemistry as well. So I was very happy that I did graduate with 5 years after the bachelor in engineering, chemistry, and biology. Because when I took over the company, I was able, because of these studies, formal and academic studies, to talk with professors, with researchers, and to build partnerships with world-class experts for innovation, to improve the product, to improve the quality, and to improve the value that we're offering to our clients. So we did in fact sign a 3 years R&D research and development partnership with the best researchers in oil transformation, because soap is made with oil in France, and we did have some patents, and we are proud to say that we have maybe, yes, one of the best quality soaps in the world, at least Marseille soap. But it's true. And also we have signed partnership with 2 French universities, with 2 professors, one of them being Anouk, that you know, for a 2 years partnership, and they are experts and professors with in management and management innovation. And we are, our company is, let's say, their field of experience. But they brought a lot to us, and we did a very good program to, based on this question, how to recognize the work of people that are very committed to the development of the company and their self-accomplishment. So this link with universities is of major importance in the development of our company. And I think that having studied in such universities, it was quite easy for us to do that. And the other point as well is that when you make formal studies, you can also, and that's what I did at least, and that I can see that Juan Pablo did as well, and also Julia and Ismail also. You have engineering experience, and you are doing a master degree in economics and management at Sofia. So it's to have kind of cross-cultural studies, because the questions that we have to deal with are so complex that the answer cannot come from only one field of knowledge. So you have to open your mind to, even if you are a scientist, to economics, to anthropology, which is very important in EOC, to philosophy, to theology, and this is very important. And the last one is the way I have chosen to proceed with my studies with a positive ambition is to choose always the best possible universities and teachers in order to have the best possible training, both for the future and as well because you gain credibility and legitimacy. And then when you engage, for instance, in the EOC or whatever, coming from a good university, if you can, if it's possible, maybe it sounds a little bit strange, but it gives you a lot of credibility. And also because you can meet the most popular CEOs in France, I did, and also some serial entrepreneurs, very inspiring. So this nourishes a lot. And then comes the point about continuous training, which I would say is continuous sharing, more than training. And as Kurt said, then it's really the point is you continuous improvement to know better yourself, to change your sight on people, the quality of the way you are looking at people. Sometimes in the morning when I say hello to all the team, each people one by one, nobody answers me. And some of the time when I say hello, they all give me an answer and ask me if I'm well or not. Guess why? Because sometimes I have the good side and sometimes I have the wrong side. I'm just thinking about me and my problems. So to be concrete, as well, when somebody is in trouble, either you have a positive side on him or her and you tell them, you can do it, I trust you, you will do it, and then people feel enabled to do it. Or if you know your heart, if you feel that people are not able or are stupid or whatever, then they will become stupid. So the point, and it's continuous training for me to improve the quality of my sight on people. And to give you, to finish, because I'm too long, I think. So Diego, you tell me if I'm too long. For instance.
Oh, you can go for about a minute more.
Okay. I will take just one example. So Sophie was our marketing and communication manager. She's very experienced. She has 20 years of experience. She's coming from a large company, but she was dealing with big problems because she has difficulties to talk to a large assembly of people. And before a talk that she had to do, also with TV, etc., I just told her, you can do it. I trust you, you will do it. And she was just like doubting on herself. So when I told her, I had this sight on her, she felt very moved in herself. She started crying just before the talk. But because she was just not self-confident, and the quality of my site gave her this confidence, and she did a great talk. So this is a continuous training on myself to achieve this kind of very smart and nice experience.
Thank you, Jean-Louis. Thank you, Koen. You have both mentioned wonderful things. I will just repeat two sentences. Kun was mentioning people before profits, and Jean-Louis mentioned continuous sharing instead of continuous training. So I can see how both of you are the leaders of your companies and why you are the leaders of the companies. But regarding the topic, which is gift, you have mentioned the word give a couple of times. Give is not an easy concept, and so I think the moment is perfect for me to introduce you to Julia, because Julia has a very good question that has been elaborated exactly on how this concept could be misunderstood. And yeah, could be misunderstood, and people usually don't get it well. So Giulia Bongiglione holds a master in economics and management at Sofia University Institute, and after the degree, she worked in the economy of Communium Industrial Park in Lopiano. In the past 2 years, she worked in the fields of non-formal education and project management, and she's also a consultant in the EOC company. So please, Julia, jump in with your question because it's really good at this moment.
Thank you. So my question is, but the experience of gift can be risky, and sometimes your intention can be misunderstood, or the other person doesn't react as you expect. And we can see it every day in our daily life. And this could lead also to a bit of disappointment or frustration. Do you think, in your experience, that is the same thing when you leave the gift inside a company and outside in your daily life? Or do you see some differences? And also, if you have some suggestions in those situations, how do you deal with this disappointment or misunderstanding? Thank you.
That's not easy question, eh? But I can answer just with my little experience what we did. But I thought first of all what 2 years ago we met Pope Francis with a million people of the EOC in Rome. And one thing who the Pope said at this moment, when he said, okay, economy of communion, good, you share, you give, but first of all, the most important of the gift is give yourself. And I think that is also what I try to do in the company. Yes, from the morning at the evening, to give the best of myself to our employees and also to all the shareholders of the company. And I think, sure, it is not always easy. Right? It is can be difficult, but I think people feel when you're authentic. They don't think that it is. They feel that good why it is authentic. Naturally, they can misunderstood. I can give a little example. With our company, we share our profit many years already. And a few years ago, we started to involve our employees in this project. And at the end of the year, when we had a good year, we give to every employee a bonus, a nice bonus, but we give them also a check from 250 euro, important the value, and who this check they could give to a good work or that they feel important. It is not for themselves, they had to give it. And we have in our company many young people, and many didn't have an idea at what could I give this. And so it was an opportunity to speak with them. Also with what is the meaning of our company, not only the company, but also what is around. But then I saw and I had the list of what action they would give at what charity goal they would give this check, their choice. And I saw from another, I would give it to a dog shelter for old dogs. I had to make a little slick, I don't know how it in English, or another, yeah, I gave it to elevate little monkeys. Okay, but it was not so, that was not what I expected myself, but yes, we did it and we had to respect their choice. That was the most important. They didn't feel I had adjusted that. We respect their choice. And that was a moment of yeah, the gift, and that, yeah, it's every time a challenge. But then when you have respect and when they feel that you accept this, okay, then it becomes good. I could have a lot other. The company was littler. We were 50. There was one person who had 4 children, and we have a policy of the company cars. Yeah, I know, guys. We are in Belgium. We are not in the, and yeah, that was important. And we decided to give to this employee a bigger car because he had more children. And that was, I saw it was difficult for the others to see this. But it's always the moment to speak, to have a communion with the other employees, to make this clear and to make this accepted like this. But like you see, yeah, it can be misunderstood, it can be difficult, but okay, we have also to make the step to go over and to continue. They're not. Okay.
Thank you, Koen. Those were pretty good examples. I am very overwhelmed of the examples that you just mentioned. To give a car, I think I have never heard something like that before. And also this extra bonus so that your employees could also donate by themselves, and the way you respect on their own decision on the dog shelter and the monkey situation was really interesting. Those are amazing examples. Thank you very much for sharing. Jean-Louis, can you answer too, please?
I would start from Julia's question. When you are saying the experience of gift can be risky, the experience of gift is risky. When you say our intention could be misunderstood, our intention will be misunderstood. Not by everybody, of course, and the other person could react in a way that we didn't expect. The other person will react in a way that you did not expect. And disappointment is part of the experience. So don't be afraid, because I don't have to say what you will live, but of course there is the disappointment. I would rather say surprise than disappointment, which is a little bit more, to put more distance between the way people react and how you receive their reaction. When I first was disappointed, it's because I took their reaction for me personally. If I respect their reaction and try to understand, then I can be very surprised, but not wounded or not disappointed. Is that clear to you, Julia? So, of course, in the company, first we, of course, deal with people. So the difficulties that you meet with private people, we have them in the company. Let's take an example. We did a very simple exercise with the team. Each people was asked to choose some soaps and to offer them to a colleague and to tell him why he had chosen these soaps to offer to these people. And then the people receiving the soaps was praised to say thank you and to say why he was saying thank you. And for some people it's like obvious, for others it's like impossible. Saying the word thank you to a colleague was like more than over their own forces. And I was very surprised, but this is the reality. And on top of that, so this is the personal scale, You have, like Kun said, the community scale of the community or the company scale. Then it's really a matter of culture. Maybe we can develop that in the third question. But the point is that my role as the CEO of the company is to create the right culture, the right environment, so that people feel authorized to give. But my job is not to force them nor to convince them to give. This is their own challenge or their own personal way and with their own rhythm. So this creates, like I said, the right distance between what I commit to and what is my role and what is not, because it's not depending on me, it's depending on the freedom of the people. Let's take some examples. So I took the thank you example. Then we try to do it at the company scale by making to each other in the day-to-day life some positive feedbacks. So we try many ways to help people or to encourage people to give positive feedbacks, which is not saying thank you because you are nice people. It's saying thank you because you have helped me that day at that time in this situation, and that's why you have helped me, and thank you for that specifically. We are still looking for the right way to do that. It's very difficult. People tell you that they already did that before, but when you look at what they are doing, you can have some doubts. It's so difficult. It takes years and years, and you have to try again. And it's a never-ending story. Not talking about feedbacks to help people to improve, which is another step beyond, but at least to give positive feedbacks is already very challenging. I want to finish with a very positive experience, because yes, there is disappointment, but we have some marvelous surprises. People revealing themselves in a very unexpected way, and unexpected people that all of a sudden, you don't know why, they just stand up and they start to give, they start to receive, and they start to encourage other people to do that. And they become sort of leaders of our new culture. Most of the time, they are not the managers, they are people from the field, either in the factory or salespeople, and then it's like you say hallelujah, because you just didn't even expect these people to do that. So in the beginning, you are just seeing some small, like a small seed, just starting to grow, and you just have to first say thank you, and then to encourage them. And on the other side, let's take an example. Lucien used to be a military, what you call that, officer. So coming from a very different culture, and he has done the war in Africa, etc. And then he worked in a big company, and then he abandoned everything to join our small company, just because we are trying to live this culture. So in the beginning, it was very difficult for him. And then step by step, it was like as if he was connecting to himself, to his feeling. And then also he was authorizing himself to have some feelings and to express them. And months and months, years and years, we have seen him growing. And now is a leader in our cultural transformation. And is also pointing on people that have difficulties to do that. So I remind him from where he's coming. Very kindly, but I can remind him how it was when he joined the company.
Thank you.
Answering your question, Julia.
Julia?
Absolutely, yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Very, very, very good examples, and I guess it's crystal clear, right? It is risky, and you will be misunderstood. So that is good to know. That is good to know. And I am doing research on the gift, and I was told the exact same thing. And in my mind, I was thinking, but if I am crazy about doing research about the gift, that's because there are crazy people that are actually doing gift within business. So that is a good thing to know. And it is also a perfect time for Ismail to join with his question, because his question is about how to share this kind of passion, how to convince people on this. And let me introduce you to Ismail. Ismail is Ismail Salgado. He's also from Mexico, and he wanted to be presented just as with three names, which is Natalia, Ismita, and Rafita, his wife and his 1.5 years old and 1 month old sons. So he's a married man with children, and he wanted to be introduced with that in the first line. So that speaks a lot about Ismail. He's a civil engineer, director management of the project department in the family's construction company. He's a co-owner with his sister of a Mexican restaurant and with his wife of a chocolate shop. And he's also a member of the Focolare movement and part of EOC Mexico and the National Committee of Economy of Francesco. So please, Ismail, join us with your question.
Hi, everybody. As an entrepreneur, when we are sharing our passion about EOC, sometimes it's difficult to convince the other entrepreneurs or managers that this is the best way of doing, especially if they don't share our values or our moral values. And they say, if I am already doing my part in the common good by providing good work and good products and services, why should I make this extra effort? Why should I spend more time and money that I could perfectly be spending with my family, or just could be enjoying as a well-deserved reward of my job? Why should I go over my duty? Or why do we have to get to the gift part? On the other hand, there is this idea in the workers class and poor social classes that every extra thing that we do for them in the inside of the company or at the outside is just a little part of of everything that we get by kind of slave them or that steal out of them. So this complicates the relationship and make it difficult to get to the point where the gift is reciprocated. So how can we help to break this vicious cycle in our companies and society?
Thank you, Ismail. You have big companies, very nice in Mexico.
No.
Nice. But you made different questions. I will try to give my opinion. In the first thing, when you try to convince other people of our idea, yes, it is. I don't think we can only convince with our being, how we do with our example. That's first of all. On the other hand, when we know the economy of communion, there were three goals for sharing of the profit. It was the company themselves to develop, one for inclusion of the poor people and to help the poor people to work and so on. But the third was the education, to develop the idea, and that's, for me, was very important when we discovered the EOC. This third part was so important because we have to start with the young people now. That's so important that we have now EOF. It will be the young people who will take this, and there is today a streaming in the world that the economy like it goes now cannot go on. So this becomes greater, but it will be the young people who will make this reality, I think, in the future. Naturally, also in the company, we try to live this culture of reciprocity and this communion. For example, we had a person who came for a job application, and after we spoke to him, and we asked him, okay, but what can you be for the company? But we asked also, what can we do for you? What can EasyKit be for you? And afterwards, we heard from another, his sister, who knows some other employee in a company. He told this. He had come to look for a job in our company, and he told this. And that means that there is the communion and the feeling is good in our company. Or another employee who came to me, it was a few years ago, and he came to me. Yeah, I had another proposition from a competitor, and he want to give me much more salary, but I decided not to do, because I want to be part of this family, of this company. And these are things that say, okay, that there is something that we can develop and that we have to develop. And also, for me, it's very important as CEO to be also example, that we are in our shops, in our we don't look luxury. It is sobriety is for me a very important term in our company also, but also for myself it's important. I could, as director, drive a Porsche or I don't know, but okay, we look for a car, a good car, but and so on. That's are things that our employees or people see and they feel, and this develops also this can help this culture to come also to others. Yeah, this moment. Okay, Jean-Louis.
Yes, cool. What do you need?
That you go on.
How will that you?
Oh, excuse me.
When I was younger, because I'm 52, I will be 52 next week, as every year. I was also willing to convince, but in fact, as Kun said, you just can't. In the same way, you cannot motivate people. They have to find the energy in themselves, their own motivation, their own the meaning of their life and what they are made for. You cannot do that for them. So this is not your responsibility. As the CEO of the company, you have a big responsibility, but this is not to convince people. Let's take the image of the gardener, because we have a gardener here. If you want the flower to grow, you cannot pull on the flower to help it grow. He's agreeing with me. Frederick is just beside me. He knows much more about me about gardening. So it's usually you can pull on the flower with just you will just kill the flower if you want to grow it by pulling on the leaves. But what you have to do is to pour water, maybe is to put some nitrates or other environmental friendly matters to give them minerals, to feed the flower, to understand if it's a flower that needs a lot of sun, some sun, or no sun at all, that prefers to live in the shadow, and then to place the flower in optimal condition so that the flower can grow. And maybe this flower is growing only in spring, So if you expect the flower to grow in the winter, you can wait until the spring. So you have to be very patient. But this is your duty or your commitment. So I realized after years, many years, that I was just misunderstanding my role. So don't pull on people to let them grow. So at the same time, so you have to withdraw from this attitude, but to understand how can I create the right conditions for people to grow and for the company as a group to grow as well, which are two different things. And to be convinced, and this is the anthropology of, to use a professor word, of EOC, is that we are absolutely deeply convinced that people accomplish themselves by giving. So if you create the right environment, one day or another, and maybe not all, or maybe not all of them, but most of them will make the experience, or as Kun said, they will see other people around them, starting by us, making this experience of giving, and maybe they will make a try, and they will experience how good it is for themselves and for the others when they try to experience giving in the company, and then they will enjoy it, and they will do it more and more, and the colleagues will see their colleagues making this experience, and maybe they will make a try. And then it will spread all over the company. You just have to be the keeper of the culture to make sure that the conditions are still there. And if they are not, you have to really be the authority that will tell people that are not respecting this culture that they have to, because they should not impeach the group to grow. So this is the way authority, I would see my role as the keeper of the culture, and also to bring external people, either other companies people or either CEOs, or visiting other companies that are doing this, and also asking for external help, as I said before, like we did with Anouk and Veronique, which they both brought us a lot in this field, and now with some consultants, because to a certain point, you can feel that when you do it on your own, and when you try to transform deeply the culture of the company, at a certain point you will hit on very.
Jean-Louis?
Oh, the
I
line.
think we lost Jean-Louis for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, but I had the sense that he was reaching the end of his speech. So we still have a couple of minutes more. So I would like just to ask like a final question that has come from Roberta, who is our junior leader, Roberta Sterrazzo, who we really thank her for all the hard work that she's doing with Anouk and all this economy of Francesco and the village. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you, Anouk. Thank you, Roberta. Roberta was asking a question that is related for our keynote speakers, for Kun in this case. We know that the economy of community has a particular identity at the organizational level, but a lot of our attendees and a lot of our members of the village have their own companies, but they do not belong to the economy of community. So do you have an advice on them how to live this kind of gift-giving cycle, even though if they don't belong or they don't completely understand what's going on within economy of community? What would you say to them, Kun?
For me, as I said at the beginning, it is very important that my company is not mine. That I make abstract of the ownership. I have the people in the company to serve them. I have, and so you don't need to be literally to EOC or other. But this, when you feel like this, it makes a step that you can grow in the gift and in the in looking for communion that are very important. And last, I would say also, as Pope Francis said 2 years ago, when we met him with the EOC entrepreneurs, he said, okay, that is the good Samaritan, that you help the poor and you help the people who are on the road and so on. Okay, but that's not enough. With the economy of today, and that's why I'm so happy with EOF, the economy of Francesco. We have to change the world, and we have to change the economy, that we don't need any more good Samaritan, but there will nobody more in need, and that is for all companies and all people important, EOC or not.
Thank you, Koen. That's actually a very good message. Also, because in the encyclical there is a whole chapter on the Samaritan for you guys to read. It's a very cool chapter on the Samaritan parable. So we have reached to the end of our webinar, and I don't know if Jean-Louis will come back. I haven't received a message, but I will make sure that through Roberta and Anouk, we will thank Jean-Louis for his contribution, for the really hard work that he has been doing in his company as well. So before finishing, will Julia, Juan Pablo, or Ismael would like to share some final thought on EOC, EOF, or this webinar? Would you like, if you feel so, just jump in, and if not, we will conclude the webinar.
Maybe like about the last question, because I really feel that also inside the economy of communion, each reality is different, and like you don't have like there's not a list of compulsory things that you have to do in order to be an entrepreneur of the economy of communion. So like the heart is there. Your intention and what we said until now, all these things, but you don't have like a list, or the model is there, but it's not a strict one. So you can adapt your enterprise, your company or whatever, also like an NGO, for example, to this model, to those values. And I think it's great also if you don't have like a stamp that says economy of communion or whatever. So I think that all these movements, but it's economy of communion, economy of Francesco, and we have a lot of movements now about economy, but it has to change. I think it's all great, and in our reality we can understand how we want to do it.
Thank you, Julia, and you're very right. It goes beyond the checklist. It's not just a checklist. It's a full transformation of the company. It starts with a leadership, as we can see with Koen and Jean-Louis, having those role models, those leaderships, well seen in the company. I'm pretty sure that it has been very good for the company. So we have reached our the final part of the webinar. I really thank you, all of you guys, to be here. Thank you, Koen, for your amazing examples.
Thank you all.
For your message and so on. Thank you, Jean-Louis. If you're seeing us, you are really appreciate for you being with us today, and with your team that you were together there. Also rooting for you. I hope you had a good birthday this week. Thank you, Roberta, and thank you, Anouk. Thank you all for our panelists, Julia, Juan Pablo, and Ismael. And I guess we will see you all around November for the final event. So have a great weekend, and see you all pretty soon. Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank
you.
you very much.
Bye.
See you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.